Hey guys.
While we're waiting, actually, could you introduce yourself, Yuval? I don't believe the community knows you that well, or maybe some of them do, but not all of them.
Yes. So first time in the committee meeting.
Nice.
I'm actually contributing to Lance in the last couple of months. I created the LanceDB C repo, which is the C bindings for Lance.
Great. Awesome. Great to have you.
Thank you.
And Andrew, you were here last week, right? No worries. I guess he's on mute. Okay, so I think I'll just give it another. Well, actually, we can get started. I'm sure people will trickle in as the hour goes by. So I'll share my screen. Hopefully this time I'm going to be sharing it correctly. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
I'm just going to move this here. Okay.
Uh-huh.
All right. So yeah, welcome to the community sync today, June 4th. So Andrew's just all the note takers are notifying me right now. Anyway, that's fine. Okay, so welcome everyone. The biggest highlight, I think, from the last week is that we've voted in some new maintainers to the Lance format. We just announced it on GitHub as well as social media. So yeah, basically we have 5 new maintainers who have been added to the list from various organizations. I've listed them here. So Zhenjian, Chunshu, Yang, Zhang, and Dan, our very own Dan Rammer here on the call. Yeah, great work on all your contributions, and hopefully a lot more to come. Another update from last week is we've gotten a new paper out with the research community on Lance. It's the stable world model framework. It's basically a new platform for reproducible world modeling research with a lot of work done with Jan LeCun's research group and his community around him. So it's been a lot of long-term collaboration with a lot of researchers as well as industry experts. But yeah, the paper is super interesting. Essentially, Lance is a unifying layer for world model training pipelines in this framework. So hopefully this will mean that a lot more people training world models for physical AI will rely on Lance going forward. And all of this is enabled by the contributions made by the larger community. So it all ties in. So great stuff on that. I've not listed all the individual, performance improvements and commits this week because yeah, there's quite a long list. It's quite easy to find those on GitHub. But I think the next release candidate is out. The votes for that are open. I believe, Will, this is already ready for votes, right? Okay, yeah.
I think so. Maybe I'm pretty sure Weston is doing releases this week.
Okay.
Is Weston on the meeting?
Maybe I can do release. I can do this.
I was going to make a hotfix. Am I on the release?
Yeah, I think Will and Weston have been on release for a while. I think you are in between every month. I guess I can work on release this time.
So Weston, did you say there's a hotfix needed?
No, there is a hotfix needed, but if we're just going to do a 7.1, that's fine too. We should just make sure that 7.1 includes the performance fix that merged yesterday. I'll send it to you, Shahal.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I think this one, we've already gotten 3 votes on this. The new FM index from Benan. Is Benan on the call? If he's not, that's fine. We can, yeah. Essentially, this is a small spec change. Yeah, go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, I'm a bit concerned about this new index format because this index size is nearly the same size as the original data, so it's a bit confused to me. And I'm also thinking if it's a good time for us to build the index plugin so that users can just experiment different index format outside Lance format.
Good point. So I think the discussion is a good place to have that, right? Like, I mean, folks can chime in with
Yeah.
their concerns in the vote.
Yeah. I'll come back to the discussion and maybe with more discussion over that. Yeah, I'm okay to get this index go first and can move to the further discussion for while we are trying to add in some new index. Do we want to add it as a plugin instead?
Yeah, I agree. I think we probably need to do a review of the current state and see like to what degree indexes are pluggable now, and what we need to do to make that possible.
Yeah. Yes.
I think at least on the vector index side, that's not really possible. On the scalar index side, I think it's close to possible, but I think there's also some dependencies maybe of like, can you define custom kinds of queries and such? Go ahead, Weston.
Yeah, probably the biggest thing missing is just if we don't, either we need a C API, like a ABI stable API for the scalar stuff, or we need some other way of registering plugins that works, because I think a lot of people use Pylance, and if plugins are defined at the Rust level, it's hard to add a plugin as a, like, ideally you would just do pip install Pylance and then you would do pip install lance-fm index or something like that. But because each of those is going to have their own copy of the Rust code, you can't have them talk to each other unless they have an API. That being said, every time we propose a new index, this is maybe somewhat pragmatic or pessimistic, this conversation comes up, and I would say if we want to do index plugins, let's not tie that work to someone coming in and wanting to add new functionality. Like, there's nothing preventing us from building that C API and all that kind of stuff, but do we want to prevent someone from proceeding while we're waiting for that plugin? Like, if the plugins are a priority, let's just do the plugins.
Yeah, I think also I'm not sure you absolutely need runtime plugins as like the gating thing. I think I agree if you want that to be like something that they can publish and is used by anyone in sort of like the Lance ecosystem, you probably need that. But there's probably like an intermediate state of just like making it so at the Rust layer, it is fully pluggable. You can write an index in a separate crate and import that and integrate it at compile time. And I think maybe that would be like a good place to start first. That helps you define that API that you would then need to convert into a plugin layer.
We should absolutely have the stuff in place that we need for that. We would just, to put this in a separate crate, that should be doable. I've been wanting actually to start breaking up Lance-index into a bunch of smaller crates.
Weston, should this be an issue, do you think? Open issue?
What, breaking Lance-index into smaller crates?
Yeah, basically like having a separate index plugin API, ABI, whatever you call it.
Yeah, I can make some issues.
Yep.
But yeah, if we want to put this in a separate crate today, I don't think there's anything that would stop you from doing so. We would just have to include that crate in the Pylance. Mm-hmm. So it'd still be in the mono repo. As the FM index has quite a few other caveats too. Yeah. So like, I think this PR alone does not make it complete and finished and ready. So it does really poorly when the search matches most of the documents in the data.
So just to clarify to everyone, the benefit of this is that when you have code indexing, like large code bases, that's where this has real value, because there's a lot of similar terms across that code base. So it's got a very different use case than general purpose scalar index, like string-based scalars.
It's really good if you need exact string matches and there's not a lot of documents that match it. So it's not just that the code has similar terms, but it's like the way, I think it's designed around the way agents are doing querying for code.
Okay.
Is like agents don't have eyes. So they use grep a lot. And they're always grepping for something fairly long and fairly unique. Like I want to find all invocations of the foobar baz function. And that's only going to be in hopefully 10 files in your repository or whatever. And so this is very good at answering that kind of query.
Yep. Cool. So yeah, the discussions are open. So if anyone has more thoughts on it, that's a good place to put it. There's also another vote that's open by Jack. I know he's not on this call, but anyone has comments on this? Because there's a lot of discussion here within the discussion itself.
Yeah. I think Jack is not in the meeting.
Okay.
Yeah, Jack's not in the meeting. I know. I think I discussed with him also a little bit offline, and I'll post my thoughts. But I think I'm generally supportive of it at this point.
Okay.
But it took a bit to get me to understand the use case.
Okay. Cool. So that's discussions open as well. We can go into the larger topics here. The new label system. So is there an open issue /PR on this?
There's no open issue. I've already merged it, but I just wanted to highlight really quick.
Cool.
Let me share my screen.
Yeah. Please stop.
Basically, we have a new labeler for pull requests, which should make it easier to find pull requests that are sort of related to interests you want to review. So, for example, if you want to look at all the encoding related ones, we have this new A prefix, so A-encoding can get you all the sort of encoding related changes. Similarly, sort of with like Python or different changes. All this is set up so that it just automatically detects these changes based off of which files are changed. And if we find that we need to add new labels or modify things, we can do so in this file, and that'll propagate to the auto labeler. Yeah, the basic idea is just making sure that as this repo gets really big, we can route PRs to the people who are most able to review those, make it easy to find those PRs.
A quick question: the A prefix here is for area, right?
Yeah, it means area.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, very useful. And I have already using that. And it's also very useful for automation.
Great.
Good. Anyways.
Cool. Okay. Yeah, so I think the other big one we need to bring up here is the stable row IDs. I know Jack's not here, but I think Will and Weston, if there's anything you can chime in on here.
Yeah,
I know there's a lot of crosstalk on this.
The high level ask is to like reevaluate, do we want to have this special structure in the manifest to store the row IDs, or do we want to make them stored elsewhere? And I think maybe the main cons of the current system is that it has this special encoding and caching and all sorts of code paths. And maybe there's ways we can instead reuse the file level encoders and lookup and reads. So, or maybe some sort of index. So I don't know too much about it yet. Jack asked us to sort of look at that. Go ahead.
I was just saying, like it's a stable row ID is it's like globbing together 4 different concepts, some of which already exist elsewhere. And it's like we have ways to record indexes. Stable row ID at its heart is like a sequence index. There's no reason that couldn't be a standalone thing on its own. It adds a way to update an index when you write new data. which I think would be generally useful for like a lot of indexes if we just had that capability. And it adds like a concept of like a auto-generated column, auto-incrementing column type thing, like would be called a sequence in other databases. So it's like that could also be independently useful on its own. So like the way I read this is, rather than having this sort of one very specific concept, we could have more general concepts, and then stable row ID is just a feature.
Yeah,
but
I think it's very well put. I actually would love it if you put that comment in the discussion. So I think it's really insightful.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
and worth exploring.
Is there anyone else with any comments on this? I think we just needed to bring it up to everyone's attention, and then, yeah, if there's more follow-up comments, it can be on the discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so this one's by Shonwo.
Yeah, this one is by me. I think this issue is just to align our implementation for distributed index. I think we have already built an API for all our index, and we want to make sure that all our distributed index are implemented in this way. So we need to migrate all existing distributed index to those new APIs instead of trying to introduce more ideas like shards or partitions or different ideas in those index. And we have already migrated all most vector index and also full text search index, and there are only some scalar index left. So we are trying to moving that. And I think there are some work at the LanceSpark side trying to introduce distributed zone map in LanceSpark. So maybe I want to have some time to allow me to align the API for zone map first. So that's all. Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I like this direction, this cleanup.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Shonwo. This looks like, yeah, there's more items to clear out as well with the community as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, this one is also from me. And this is an API breaking change, and this change will affect all our file writers and the index writers. So in before, our file writers and the index writers will return the rows that we have written in the file. But this is not enough for us because we need to know how many bytes in this file. Otherwise, we need to send an extra head object or extra list objects to know how large how many bytes in this file. So I made this change, and based on this change, I will do some follow-up change to use those written summaries to read those file size directly. Yeah. But this is an API breaking change, so I want to make sure everyone informed about this change.
That makes sense. It seems like in the future we should probably avoid just returning just raw integers or tuples from most functions like this, and instead try to return a result struct. Because I think adding is really a breaking change in that case. The other thing is, I thought, if I remember right, I added a progress callback to at least some of the code paths here that would track in a more live way with the number of rows written in size bytes. I'm not sure if it was all the way down to this level.
Not sure. I will just check some details in the code.
Yeah, worth checking, and if not, maybe we could push it down to that level.
Sorry.
Oh, I was saying maybe we could push it down to that level in case people thought that was useful to have things like sort of like progress indicators on writes.
Yeah.
Quick question: if this is a breaking change, how do we users are aware of this? Like, I mean, is it just going to be documented in the code itself?
For now, I only changed the Rust API, and the Rust will make sure that the build will fail, and the user will acknowledge about this change, and they can get their code agents to migrate this change. And the Python API is not changed, and I'm not sure we really want to do this.
Okay.
Also, Prashant, that just to maybe another sort of thing on the GitHub labels, whenever you put like an exclamation mark in the PR title, or you
breaking change,
it'll add a breaking change label to that PR. And then when we create the auto-generated release notes, the top section is always a list of breaking changes. So this will be
great.
That top list.
Awesome. Great. That's good to know.
Yeah. Also do a follow-up PR to update our migration notes. So if you want to migrate from this version to that version, you will need to do those code changes. Yeah.
Right. Cool. And I think there's another one here. Oh, Andrew. This is by Andrew.
Yeah, I mean, mine is just like the follow-up on a essentially recent conversation about batch commit. And last time we touched the WoW, and I did some research on it, and it looks like it's not touching WoW like directly. And also like following the overall like what is going on in the Lance repo, I see a lot of like similar pattern that we want to implement as well. So just like I added them there as the essentially as the follow-up comment. And also last time Jack I think mentioned that he wants to explore the overall how it's aligned with the table versions, and essentially what is like how tables are updated and what like the sequence of it. So that's pretty much where we're at. So I just added my observations there, and happy to chat about those. Or yeah.
Unfortunately, Jack isn't here on the call, but he would have been able to maybe give more context on what he's thinking. I guess
of course.
Yeah, this will continue async.
What's the overall state of this? Is this something that we're prototyping at this point? Is this something we are still sort of discussing and unsure on the design of?
Yeah, I mean, I essentially waiting for either green light from you guys or just some comments on the spec.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew, just to clarify, I think the reason Jack brought it up is this kind of overlaps with other PRs that he's making for other users, right? I think that's the thing we have to be careful about, to interweave this with some other ongoing work on the wild stuff. Yeah.
But definitely.
I try to like look into like I check out the 7 like of course the 7 and some 1, so I didn't find like a lot of overlap, but I can do another pass on this. And if there's a overlap, I'm of course happy to just incorporate it or maybe build on top. So
perfect. Could you summarize what you looked up again, just so we have that written down here?
Well, I mean, essentially all of the things that happen in like version 7 and slightly, like release candidate that what was it? I think you released it like yesterday, right? If I'm not mistaken. So I didn't go deep into that yet, but like this is what I can do, and just to make sure that there are like no overlap.
Yep, makes sense. All right, and Yuval, I think you have a question here as well.
Yeah, it's just that I was removed from the Lance org, so there's no one that kind of takes care of the repo. So my question is someone's gonna kind of step in, or is this repo not going forward?
I think what you asked is LanceDB C instead of Lance, right?
Yes, LanceDB C.
Okay.
Okay.
Actually, so could you explain again? You said you were removed from this repo?
No, I was removed from the Lance org, which means that I'm not able to merge my work or other people's work into the repo anymore.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that was intentional. Did someone communicate something to you?
No, I just got a message like from GitHub saying. So I was wondering, like, is someone else going to step in? That's going to be awesome. But if not, like, I need to know the future of this repo. I'm using that, and I have lots of open PRs against
of course. It. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess, yeah, go ahead.
Well, because this probably wasn't the Lance org itself. It's probably the LanceDB org. It might have been someone from our company, like saw you
so
as an employee.
I know that we did a IT like a audit recently. Like we scraped through like a lot of our past accounts and stuff like that. So yours may have kind of been swept through along with that. So
yeah, but I wonder
I'm
if
pretty sure it was not targeted. Yeah. But
yeah, maybe like a repo scoped maintainership.
We should be able to do that. Yeah.
Okay, great. Thanks.
So you will definitely follow up with you on that. Yeah, that was not intentional and it was not targeted at you.
Okay, sure. Thanks.
Yeah, but just to be curious, like what exactly is your vision? You said you have a lot of PRs aligned, planned for this. What is going on in that space?
So I can explain what I'm doing, but I really hope this would be useful for other people. So the intent of this repo is to create C bindings, as C is pretty much the lingua franca for communicating between different programming languages. And I hope this will be useful. I use it in the context of C++.
Yeah.
But I like the intent is C, because if somebody wants to use it for something else, they're more than welcome to do that. Yeah, so I include LanceDB as part of what I'm working on. I work for IBM, and we're developing storage solutions that are like S3 on-prem, and we're going to use LanceDB as the vector technology inside our solution. So we wrote our product in C++, so we need this C bindings.
Got it. Makes total sense. Great. So we'll get you the scoped access for this repo. But yeah, basically once that's there, you should be able to send your PRs back and then continue maintaining.
That's great.
Yeah. As far as I know, in the community, I think you're the main maintainer here. I'm not sure if there's others who are actively contributing here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm the main contributor. There are maybe a couple of other people that did some work here, but yes.
Great. Do you know if they are having the same issue as you, or have you collaborated or contacted any of them?
I mean, they rely on me. They relied on me to do the merges and to do the reviews and everything. So
yeah, okay. So I guess maybe if there's any other issues like this, people can reach out on Discord. I might just put out a message there to let us know if you're not able to make contributions.
Okay.
Great. I think today's discussions were a bit short because we kind of didn't have much context without Jack, but I think there's a lot anyway ongoing on GitHub. So are there any other open issues? Any other comments? If not, then we can continue discussions async. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.
Thank you very much.
Bye.